Hey guys, and welcome back to Culture Boys, a show where two guys just want to have a chat. I'm Nathan, and as always, I'm joined by Pepe. And this week, it is 100 episodes of Culture Boys on YouTube.
Yeah.
We have to make the distinction because, as we always say, there is the audio only version, but that's 3 episodes behind. So, yay!
yeah. But yeah, 100 episodes on YouTube, which is bad. Like, because realistically, like around March in 2021 is where we first started our records as well.
Yes.
So it was around then, like, where we started getting into stuff and started publishing stuff. So yeah, it's quite a big thing. And right now, this is like recording in March. I don't know what time this is releasing. Probably still in March. But yeah.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, no, it's a big thing. It's 800 eps. We've done a couple years now on YouTube, which is lovely.
Yeah, that first year was like interesting.
I'm surprised we've been able to carry on this much, to be honest.
I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of times where it feels like we've run out of ideas.
I think it doesn't. I think there's peaks and troughs to it. I feel there's sometimes where I think after records, you always start brainstorming stuff. And sometimes it's a bit like, I don't know where to go for this. Let's try and do something. And other times, ideas do come quite naturally. And it's like, oh, we can do this and we can do this kind of thing. So I think there's highs and lows of it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But we're all about trying different things as well. And for example, in the past year, this just chatting thing has been... this has been established. We've also had pitches as well. We've been doing different ideas of that.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of kind of mini series we've put out on.
We've been trying.
Yeah, we do bits. It's like little progress here and there. Like I remember, when we hit, I think we started off with 13 subscribers.
Yeah.
When we first started, that was just friends, basically, friends and family. But it has grown since then as well. We've touch wood, we're on roughly 40.
I think we're at 43 at time of recording.
43 subscribers. Yeah, that's big. I don't know. If that's 40 people, we put them all in a room. You got a party,
right?
Yeah.
Going off of what you said, 13 people initially, all our friends.
Yeah.
That means there's 30 people, give or take a handful of that number that we don't know.
Yeah. Exactly. There's a bunch. I don't know who these people are, but thank you for listening as always.
I mean, I know who some of them are because that's other people I've talked to and be I do. I got this thing that I do, and then they're like, "Cool, I'll check it out. Let me subscribe." And I'm like, "Wicked, thanks."
Yeah, I've probably maybe a couple people that I know come from that kind of thing, but
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Out of the extra 30 that we, give or take, I don't know. Let's say between the two of us, another 10 people at most, right? So there's 20 people, we don't know who they are.
Yeah, I mean, it's something at the end of the day. I mean, realistically, I was looking at our numbers as well. I don't want to talk too much business right now, but when you look at our top 5 videos, at least 4 out of the 5 are in the past year as well. I mean, that's gotta be progress at some thing, right? That's at some state.
It's so funny because we don't normally really talk about numbers and things because it's not really what we're about.
It's not, nah.
We just do this for fun, and it's always crazy, when we hit a thing that we never really set as a milestone, but then we're like, oh dude, like you said, in the videos we've got that are over 100 views, well, there's 7 of them now on our channel, and that's crazy.
It's mad, yeah.
But then like you said, 4 of that 7 are from the last year. So it's whoa, dude, that's kind of crazy. And the fact that, again, dude, we're nearly at 50 subscribers. Did you ever think we'd do this and ever get anywhere near 50?
Again, I've never really gone, I've always say this, and we've always got into this thinking, it's a hobby, we don't work, we're not going to be, chasing views or whatever. To get this done and stuff, it's nice to see.
I didn't even think we'd convince 10 of our friends. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The fact that we even hit 10 subscribers was, cool.
Yeah.
And every time we hit, we still get super excited. We'll message each other, over WhatsApp or whatever, yo, did you see we got a new subscriber?
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. It's a nice feeling. I feel I don't want to go too much more into it because it feels I think the last episode as well, we gushed about that kind of stuff. I feel we always kind of gush about it when it's just chatting.
We do every time we have a milestone.
Yeah.
For something. Normally it's like the end of the year for us where we go like, oh, it's a whatever year anniversary.
It's good to be excited. It's good to be excited about these kind of things, though. Like, it's natural to be like happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you be?
Yeah.
Yeah, like even if we're not chasing stuff, we're still achieving stuff
Yeah.
for just having some fun. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Exactly. Like, yeah, it's a nice thing to do. But yeah, how have you been, Nathan? You've been well? What have you been up to recently?
dude, I've been great, but that's probably also because I've got 2 weeks off from work, so I haven't been doing my day job.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. It's nice to take a bit of time out of that kind of thing.
Yeah, like in the immediate, I'm great. I don't have to go to my day job because I've booked 2 weeks off. So like I'm having a great time. Although it does kind of suck because as of recording, I've got a week left. So I will have to go back soon. But
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. You got the 2 weeks. That's something. That's a good amount of holiday right there.
dude, it is like, but you know, every time you go back to work and you're like, oh, it wasn't enough.
Yeah, it's kind of like I feel like whenever I do that kind of thing, I come back and I'm like, how do I do my job again?
Oh,
It's
totally.
been so long. Like, wait, what do I do? Oh shit! Like, it takes me time to get back into it. I think like I was just off for quite a little bit before this. Kind of 2 weeks ago. Well, it wasn't really off. It was like I was doing jury service. So like I wasn't really off work. It was like kind of that. But like it's very different going back in. Like, okay, I need to get to grips with what the fuck I'm supposed to do again. And it was like getting back into that. And yeah, I think it's interesting. It's always interesting going back to work after like a holiday kind of thing.
See, in that sense though, I get lucky because I just work in retail.
Yeah, yeah.
So like getting back into, especially the way I've like, I don't want to get too into my own personal life, but like the way I've got myself set out nowadays, I could probably take like extended amounts of time off, come back and still be like, cool, come back and be right back on schedule.
Just straight back into the thing. Yeah.
I pretty much got it. So I'm only doing like one specific thing really.
Yeah.
So it's all good, but doesn't mean that I haven't worked like crazy before my time off.
Yeah.
So the 2 weeks to relax, like I really needed that, man.
It's always good, man. It's always good to like switch off. This is one thing. Like, I feel like I'm the type of person that I'll like work a shit ton, and like I think I don't. Sometimes you don't really appreciate the holiday when you're actually in the holiday itself.
Yeah.
For me, anyway. Like sometimes I'm in there and I'm like, oh, okay. Like I'm kind of low key. I'm not thinking about work at all. Like, but like, there's also like the possibility. Oh, I've got to make sure I use my time wisely with this because you only have a certain amount of holiday days a year, and it's like, okay, how do I do something here, like and stuff. But like, this is one thing I'm gonna say as well. My holiday days this year, like, literally are mostly used within the first half of the year. I've literally got 1 day of holiday left at work.
Oof.
And then, like, the rest of it is when you hit the 30 mark, everything freaking happens. Like people getting married, and there's all other stuff going on. So you got to go to weddings, so you got to take time off for that. There's also stag do's you got to go to as well. So there's like, oh, okay, I got to take time off for this.
There's a lot of events, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things right now where I'm like, God, okay, I've taken off a lot of time. So when it's going to get to a point, like, after May, where I'm like, not busy whatsoever because all my holiday days are used and all I have is weekends. So
basically all you've done is had to go from saying yes to no to everything because
Yeah.
I can't get more time off.
Yeah,
Like.
exactly. Yeah, that's I'm literally just telling people like if you want to do anything, you got to come up to me because I do not have time or money to go anywhere else. Like, literally, this is one thing. Like, because I made it. I said before that you guys, like, you and a lot of our friends live in London. I live in Liverpool. So with like the current climate of this country as well, with the fact that, like, what is it? You got train strikes right now.
Yeah.
And not so much train strikes, but like it is also the cost of everything's gone up.
I was reading the other day, I think train fare's going up.
Yeah. And that's the one thing. And then like there's certain things like, oh, the return ticket situation as well is ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
Because you can't get certain return tickets anymore. And like I'm like, well, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Just like like at this point I'm kind of lost with it. So like I used to take the train every single time because it was cheaper and it was more efficient. But now it's mad that like driving 4 hours back and forth is now the more efficient option.
Yeah.
But like at that point, I'm not gonna just spend like one day driving down, spend a day somewhere, and then come back up like on Sunday. Is too much. Unless like something has to be really big for me to like come down for that kind of thing.
No, that makes sense. Like, why why else would you waste half a day essentially on the road?
Yeah, man, money's just like I've been putting money into everything right now. There's so much like going out. I'm kind of hoping that once this is all over, I can kind of just save a bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just like save a bit of money because that's what I kind of need right now. I've been on such a weird kind of spending spree, not just in my personal life, but buying things to other people in terms of travel and stuff like that to go see things. Like I've just got to like in terms of finances, bro. I just need to slow down. I just need to like slow down a bit, like just see everything, just like take my time and kind of build my funds back up a bit. You know.
Don't talk to me about finances, man. Sheesh. Pepe knows what's roughly what's going on with me. I'm not gonna get into it, but mate, there's a reason why your boy's been working like a mad dog getting them funds. Cause shit, man, it's not been working out either, man.
Oh really?
Like getting hours cut because it's like retail work in January sucks.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it's just like not earning as much as I have been for the last few months where I'm trying to save and I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to like do something about that sooner than I would want.
Mm-hmm.
And that sucks because I really don't want to have to do something.
It all sounds very ambiguous because I know that you
It
don't want to talk
does.
about too much. But yeah, I kind of don't. I won't pry too much into it because I feel like if I go into that kind of thing, obviously it reveals more about your personal life, and you're not.
Yeah, you know everything that I'm talking about,
Yeah,
and
man,
that's
yeah.
you know other people might not like some of the people who are we mentioned, you know, our friends and family who listen to this, they'll know what I'm talking about. But yeah, dude, I am not trying to have to do things again.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, sometimes you gotta like sacrifice certain things in terms of like that. Like that's it. That's understandable. Like, if you want to save money, you have to be brutal with it as well. Like, this is one thing. Like,
Yeah.
because I remember like the way funnily enough, any time where I started saving up money was during lockdown. But that was because literally nothing was going on. So I had nothing to spend money on. So I was just like, okay, this is quite nice. But it's kind of like since lockdown ended, it was like, oh, okay, I'm still like, I can still kind of, I got enough money to do things now. And then it's like, oh, my funds are going.
Well, that's a problem, innit? You know, when you like reach, like, I hear it from so many people I know, like, you see a number in your bank account and you're like, I don't really want it to get lower than that.
Yeah.
So then, like, you end up not doing things and not spending money or whatever. Like,
Mm.
I remember, like, at one point I needed to buy something, but it was going to drop my bank account to a certain number. And I was like, I don't want to do that. So I just didn't buy it for the longest.
Yeah.
And it was such a stupid thing because I, like, really needed that thing. But I was like, oh, but my bank account.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it is all about money management kind of stuff. Like you have to be wise with it. And I am being a lot more stingy than I would be right now. I feel like I look at things and I'm kind of looking with an eye of like, do I really, really need this? Like there'd be some things that should be like, oh, it's like if it's a couple quid, I'll let it slide. But like if it's like anything more than like maybe 15-20 quid, I'm kind of like, bro, do I need this right now? Do I actually need this? Like, it's like certain Uniqlo t-shirts that I used to buy shit tons of.
Yeah, I don't do that anymore.
It's like, yeah, bro, like my wardrobe's full as it is. I don't have the
Ain't it?
time or space for these things anymore. Like I've got like about 100 t-shirts and guaranteed I only use about 25% of them.
If that.
Yeah.
Like, I've got so many t-shirts. I think I wear the same 10.
Yeah, I think it's been wise with that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's
I mean, the only thing I splurge is like video games. That's it.
I tell you what, that you know what I was saying, like a couple purchases, like 1 or 2 quid here and there.
Yeah.
One thing that I have been doing recently is buying games that are dirt cheap, like a couple quid kind of thing. So recently, like a few of the small purchases I bought recently was Puyo Puyo Tetris 2. I think I mentioned that to you before, like off record.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because I wanted this game for ages. Like when the Switch first came out, like about 6 years ago.
I was going to say, that's a launch title, pretty much.
And I remember playing the demo of it, and I was like, this is quite fun. I enjoy this. but I never got it. And even when it did go down in price, number one anyway, I was like, I don't really want this right now. Like, I don't, it's not on my priority list. And then I think it's only recently when the Game Boy one came out, you know, the Game Boy Nintendo Switch Online stuff.
Yeah.
And that has Tetris on it. We've played against each other on that. But like, recently, like, I was playing that and then I noticed that Puyo Puyo Tetris 2 was on sale for £8 on the eShop, which I thought was a pretty sweet deal, actually.
That's not bad, actually, yeah.
Yeah, like, and I had like gold points as well, so I kind of got a little bit of cheeky discount on that as well. But like, what spurred me to get that purchase was the fact that we were playing Tetris and we were saying, because it's so old, like when you try and like press it, like there's certain quality of life things they've done to it, and like with Puyo Puyo Tetris 2, it's like, cool, you can actually do like all the things.
It was mostly complaining that we couldn't hold a piece. That was really it. Like,
yeah, and pressing the up button to actually send pieces down quicker as well. Yeah.
oh yeah, like quick drop and
holding. Yeah.
also like that spare like couple of seconds, you know, when the block hits all your set pieces and you can still rotate for a couple of seconds.
I just like get that, just mashing the button like that's 10.
Yeah, exactly. Like on the Game Boy, like OG Tetris, you can't do any of that. That game is brutal.
I'll tell you what, though, I am absolutely loving the things they're doing with the Nintendo Switch Online at the moment.
Oh, bro, the nostalgia I'm having from it. I was playing Tetris and stuff yesterday, literally just to kill time. I was playing Tetris and Dr. Mario, the NES version. All of this on Nintendo Switch Online, like, I'm loving it.
Yeah, there's been really good stuff for that. Like, I've got into Pokemon Puzzle League again.
You bastard.
What was it? I was playing it because we played it the other night, us two, like when we were waiting for another friend to come online.
Yeah.
And then like we just had like a couple games of it and stuff. And like like just a little bit insight. I've played Pokemon Puzzle Challenge on the Game Boy Color loads as a kid. That was like one of my favorite games as a kid. But Nathan, you've never really played one of these kinds of games, right?
Yeah. I never played any of the Puzzle League games.
Yeah.
It was literally the first time was when it launched on the N64 Nintendo Switch Online.
Yeah.
And me and Pepe played it for the first time. I was like, I've never played this. It's actually the only puzzle game on pretty much all of these like Nintendo official emulations that I can't beat Pepe because I've never played it.
This is one thing, because like when we've played this, like when it comes down to puzzle games competitively, like it's a quite interesting dynamic because, like Nathan said, he'll beat me like about 95% of the time.
Pretty much, yeah.
And then, like, but it doesn't mean that I'm disparaged at it. I literally just, I know that I can beat them. I know the potential's there. Like, let me just go for it. And like,
yeah. For example, we played Dr. Mario for like 4 hours one night because Pepe just wouldn't give up.
I wouldn't, because like, and that's the thing. I wasn't like, just because I was losing constantly, it didn't mean I wasn't having fun, because I was actually having so much fun. I got like really close at some points, but it just never happened.
I think you did beat me once or twice.
I think like it's the same thing with Tetris, right? Like Tetris on the Game Boy. Like, I remember the fact that I beat you on the first game.
Yeah.
And then proceeded to lose every single one after that.
It's because I was playing different.
Yeah.
I switched up my tactic, and every time I play like you're supposed to play, like build up 4 lines to get like the Tetris, right?
Yeah.
It just doesn't work out for me. So then I go back to playing my normal way, which is just clearing as many lines as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Even if it's a single line, like your score won't be great, but you'll be faster than the other guy, and that's just how I ended up winning every time.
Yeah. I've like I'm still having fun regardless. This is one thing I really enjoy.
Oh, dude, I love playing puzzle games. Like, yeah, I was so used to playing these as a kid by myself. So, like, to have someone who's like, "Yo, let's play," and then to play against someone, it's more fun than I realize.
I think that's one thing with those, because I'm an only child as well. Like, I don't have any brothers or sisters in that. Like, I was always playing these games solo regardless, because like we wouldn't have more than one system in the house when it comes down to Game Boys, like, or like anything like that. So it'd be like, oh, okay, cool. I'll just play solo and some of these. So I've never actually played like OG Tetris as 2-player before. So that was really cool to do that.
I just never had a link cable as a kid.
Yeah,
I probably could have played against my dad or my mum, because we had 2 Game Boys and 2 copies of Tetris. But considering I was a kid and didn't really understand what I was doing, I would probably never have won. And I probably wouldn't be as good as I am now.
Yeah. Yeah, especially with Tetris. I actually did have link cables, but like they got most used when friends came round or went on school trips and we could bring Game Boys out and stuff like that. So like that was interesting back in the day though. Like, but on the topic of Nintendo Switch Online, like since they've released all these Game Boy games, I just want more of them. This is the one thing. Like we've only just got a library like of about what was it like 5 Game Boy Advance titles or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, bruh, I just want. You know that library is massive as well on the Game Boy Advance. Like,
But that's the thing. Like we've asked so many times, Game Boy Advance, N64. Like those are some fairly large libraries, and it's like how. For one, how do they decide? And also, two, when do they decide to stop? You know what I mean? Like, because they don't have to keep releasing them.
I think Nintendo 64 only has a couple more games in it, I think, that are big. Like I reckon you might be able to get, what is it? Smash Bros is one of them. Mario Party 3. You got Pokemon Stadiums.
Yeah.
Like realistically, how many more can you go after that? Like that's when you start getting to the more obscure ones, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, that's all the big games to me, and I think some people would want some other stuff. There are some bigger games on the N64.
Yeah. Conkers, I guess, is an arguable one as well. Maybe Banjo 2.
Yeah, there's a lot of the rare library.
Yeah. I mean, they've got GoldenEye and Banjo on there, so yeah.
I mean, that's like the main one, right? Let's face it.
That's the seller. There's a reason why they've been pushing that like mad.
Yeah, exactly. GoldenEye is the main one on N64. If they didn't have that, people be out and crying constantly.
Yeah, that's the only thing people have been asking. Everyone just wants a modern version of GoldenEye. We will say this though, like having like played GoldenEye once as a kid and not understanding it whatsoever, playing it now as an adult, it is the funniest experience ever.
Oh my god.
Because the controls are so freaking janky to begin with, especially when you're playing on the Nintendo.
They don't make any sense.
Especially when you're playing in like using a Pro Controller or Joy-Cons.
Yep.
It is just so weird.
And there's 2 joysticks, but you only really need one.
Yeah.
If you touch the right stick at all, you've just completely fucked up your camera.
There's times where like I'm just staring at the ceiling trying to get the grips of it, and then Nathan comes along with a freaking golden gun, and I just see on his screen, then there's just me staring at the ceiling, twirling around like fucking Bob Dole and Bill Clinton in a fucking Simpsons episode.
That was the best part of the last time we played, which was fairly recently.
Yeah.
Is I've now gained a reputation for being an absolute killer with the golden gun. Obviously, because it's a one-shot kill.
It's
but
so sad. I can't get to grips, if anything.
Yeah, I just have enough aim that with the golden gun, I'm probably going to kill you, right? We've had a few games where I've just dominated the match.
Yeah.
Pepe finally gets a golden gun. I'm walking up, and the only thing I say is, "Why are you looking at the ceiling?" And then I kill him. And then that's it.
This is so sad because I actually really enjoy it, but the controls is I can't get to grips with them.
It's because you keep touching the right stick.
It's natural because having played like a bunch of like FPSs before.
Yeah, but that's modern FPS. Just don't touch the right stick.
I know, but I can't get it out of my mind.
It's so easy. Just don't touch the right stick. You'll be fine.
It's force of habit. It's literally just like it just happens, man. But bruh, like that's the main seller for Nintendo Switch online.
Yeah.
Like for the N64 one anyway. But like this is one thing, the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance libraries are like massive. Like I don't know what ones they're gonna choose for it.
That's the problem. It's narrowing those libraries down to just, I want to say just Nintendo, right?
Mm-hmm.
And anything they've published, because then it's like a whole licensing issue.
It makes sense, yeah.
There are some games I'd love to see on the Game Boy Advance. I can't really, like, off the top of my head, but I mean, like, I would normally say, like, the Mega Man Battle Network collection, but that's getting remastered, like, you know, re-released soon, in a couple of months.
Yeah.
So that's definitely not going to happen.
There's certain things, like, there's certain games which I'd love to get on the Game Boy Advance, but I know for a fact they won't appear up. Like Dungeon Dice Monsters, for example, will never appear on the freaking Nintendo Switch Online.
Yeah, I feel like Konami is gonna be weird about that.
That'd be way too obscure. I think. I feel like you said, they're gonna stick to Nintendo titles. You're gonna get like maybe Four Swords Adventure on there. You might get Mario titles on there, like maybe Mario Party on the Game Boy Advance, because
Yeah. See, but that's the funny thing. On Game Boy Advance, I feel like most of the games I remember that aren't Pokemon are not actually Nintendo games.
yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. Because like I had a Robot Wars one which I was obsessed with.
Dude.
That ain't gonna be on there. Imagine that'd be so obscure to bring over.
I mean, it's like I'd love for the some of the Shaman King games, like the RPG one I played that was like Pokemon. That would be wicked, but that's obviously never coming.
Supersonic Warriors, that'd be
Supersonic
cool.
Warriors, yeah, but that probably won't happen.
It's so weird how many anime games I actually owned on the Game Boy Advance. Thinking about it. Yeah,
Dude, like Legacy of Goku's, not the first one, that one was shit, but like
yeah.
the second one, or Boost Fury, like, or some of the Naruto games were pretty good.
I never played any of the Naruto ones on Game Boy.
I did, and they were pretty good. They were like action platformers, so they were kind of hard for me, but whatevs.
But they've already said we're gonna get like some Kirby games. We're gonna get Fire Emblem.
Yeah,
Probably get a bunch of the. We probably get Sacred Stones as well as the like OG Fire Emblem that came out in the West. I don't know. Like, there's got to be some other Link ones that we'll get, or Legend of Zelda.
I don't know, because I feel like the only one I ever remember is Minish Cap, and that's already there. So like, I don't think the Legend of Zelda franchise.
We've got Mario Kart as well. Yeah, but
But that's what I'm saying. Like, most of the GBA games I remember aren't even actually made or published by Nintendo.
we're getting Metroid Prime literally this week at time of recording.
Yeah.
I still think Mario Party Advance would probably be a good shout, because that actually is something you could probably make use out of as well, because having a Mario Party Game Boy Advance game seems a bit weirdly pointless. Like, it feels like if you're going to play, you want to have it on a home console.
Yeah.
With Advance, you needed a whole link cable for it and stuff like that. It requires so much more effort. So maybe they could actually make use out of this and actually have like a maybe better experience for it.
I don't see this happening for the GBA, but I just thought about it. I would really like for Sonic Advance to go on the GBA.
Yeah.
Nintendo Switch Online, because those are really good. I really, really like those.
I could actually see that happening. I feel like that has a better chance than any of the freaking.
Well, yeah,
anime
because
games.
Sega did the thingy in it. What was it? The Genesis?
Yeah.
That would be cool.
I can see maybe Mario Pinball, maybe.
Yeah.
I quite enjoy. I played that recently on the emulator. I actually really enjoyed that. That was actually quite a fun experience. I'm trying to think if there's any other ones that I can think of.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? It's like, what other games? It feels like I've played so many.
Mother Free. This is the time they're gonna bring.
Oh,
they're gonna
God.
bring Mother Free onto the
Oh
game.
God! Don't bring that.
You know for a fact, if it did get, it'd like be like, what the hell? Like, this is the time they're gonna do it.
I mean, just by this point,
If they've done Earthbound Beginnings, bro, there's a chance. There's a chance.
I know, but like by this point, you've been asking for so long, and there's been that good fan translation that's basically the version. So just go and play that. Why you gotta keep? I just don't understand.
But yeah, I don't think there's many other ones I can think of.
It won't happen, and it's more anime. But like, I'd love for the Metabots games to be on there. They were so good,
That's I feel that's really obscure.
but they're definitely not, because that is like, I know there's big Metabots fans out there, but like, even when it was out, I felt like Metabots wasn't as big as it could have been.
Yeah. Oh man, I did love Metabots. Like, really, this funny enough, talking about it, a game keeps on being advertised to me right now.
Okay.
I don't know if you've getting this at all. Like, it's like a mobile game of Metabots. I can't even remember the plot of Metabots right now. Like,
Dude, I've never seen what? There's a mobile game of Metabots? What?
there's like, it keeps on being. Well, this is the one thing I don't trust it, because any mobile game that gets promoted to me on Facebook, I'm just like, that feels like it's trying to be like, it's gonna be crap. Like, there's always these One Piece mobile games that get advertised to me, and they're not the official ones. They're always like, like join the accurate. It's like it's artwork taken from actual like PS4,
Yeah.
like One Piece games, and like that's not legit. There's like,
I,
that's why I'd never try mobile game advertisements. I'd never trust them. So when the Metabots one turned up, I was like, that's quite cool, it's there, but I'm also a little bit skeptical.
I don't even know what's happening with the franchise anymore. Last thing I remember was like a 3DS game got announced for
Yeah, for
Japan, and we
Japan,
never
yeah.
saw it, which bummed me out.
Yeah.
I don't really know what's up with the Metabots franchise. I know it's still around.
Yeah. I honestly, I absolutely loved it as a kid, but if you asked me to tell you a storyline from it or whatever, I'd be like, I cannot remember any storylines from it.
Okay, so I just remember, and it's probably because I played the Game Boy Advance like Pokemon style RPG. The main character Icky wants to be a road battler, but Metabots are too expensive.
Yeah.
A guy who works at the local shop but isn't actually a normal employee. I think he's got some ties to the government or something.
Right.
Gives Icky's dad a discount on an old Metabot that he had in the back, was super dusty, which turns out to be Metabee.
Yeah.
But also gives him the medal, which is super rare. It can evolve over time, which I think normal medals can't. And basically it was like a super rare one from like a facility or something. This guy, again, because he's like tied to the government or some shit, like probably stole it in espionage and then just gave it away. So then Icky gets his dream and he wants to be the best road battler in the whole world.
Yeah. What was the other robot called? There's I don't Metabee.
What, Metabee and Rakusho?
Rakusho, yeah, that was it. I remember Rakusho, like he was cool.
Can you tell I'm a really big fan?
I just remember those two. That's the only two things I remember about Rakusho and
Yeah.
Metabee. And even then, I couldn't remember their names.
But that's because Rakusho is the cool like samurai style Metabot that doesn't have an owner, and then Metabee is like the main character one.
Yeah. Oh man, I kind of want to low key like go. Did you say on Game Boy Advance? Those games,
Yeah,
like they're like Pokemon style ones.
There was I think those ones were called AX or something, and like Pokemon, it came in two versions. There's Metabee version and Rokusho version. Yeah.
Oh man,
I'll have to dig them out and let you know because I have both of them in my collection. There's the Pokemon style one, which was really cool.
Yeah.
And then where you basically play through the story of this series.
Okay.
And then there's another one which is like a action platformer, kind of like Smash style.
Oh right, yeah.
And that one's cool, but that one's more just like you're the robot, you are the Metabot, and you're fighting. That's it.
Yeah.
There's not much of a story to it. The other one is cool because it's like RPG style and it's Pokemon style ish. Yeah, dude, I would totally love for those games to come, but that's never gonna happen.
Yeah, I think this is the one thing, right? What do you think of the possibility, or I think it will happen that the Pokemon games coming on the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance, like online service. I think it's a high possibility they will come to the service, but I don't know when they will. This is my opinion on it.
I think the Game Boy ones, the OG ones,
Yeah,
we have a higher chance of that happening because they basically already did the work for the 3DS. They just have to add online compatibility. However, I personally don't see them adding Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, Fire Red, Leaf Green.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Just cause. Why would you play the OG ones if you've got the better versions as Gen 3?
Well, this is also the thing though, like if you have the opportunity to play Gold and Silver, why would you go back to Red and Blue?
That is true.
But it's the more nostalgia factor. It's giving people the option. This is the one thing of it. And I feel like this is the one thing though. This is why I think I don't know when it will happen. Because they had the prime opportunity to do it in that fucking Pokemon Presents.
Yeah.
And we didn't get any news about Nintendo Switch Online. Like, not even, they've confirmed that Stadium's coming, but we got no news in it in that Presents either. So
I think that's because there's more work that needs to be done than we realize.
Yeah.
And that's why they haven't said anything. I think there's more work and there's probably more plans and things in the background than we actually are being told. Again, I think we might have mentioned it. I've definitely talked to you about it personally, but I've read that with Pokemon Stadium coming, the original game, you had the cartridge thing for the controller.
Yeah.
So you could put your Pokemon from the actual OG games like Red, Blue, and Yellow into Pokemon Stadium to use in the battles.
Mm-hmm.
Rumor has it that they're doing something about that to
Yeah.
replicate that somehow. And then me and Pepe have extrapolated that to mean that they're probably going to re-release the OG games so that you can play that and then it's got some sort of compatibility like that.
Yeah.
But that is why I don't feel like they'll release... At least I don't think they'll release Fire Red and Leaf Green. They might do Gen 3.
I don't think they will. I think it's I think Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald have like a better chance of it. Although it's like you said though, it feels weird releasing Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald when Emerald is kind of like the definitive edition of it.
Yeah.
This is still a tough thing with it because it's the same way with Red, Blue, and Yellow. Realistically, there are certain things like you can play Yellow through, but there's certain Pokemon in Yellow that you can't catch because you need Red and Blue as well. So that one kind of makes a little bit more sense. Like
That's why I think they would do a full release of like all 3 games. Is for
Yeah.
that specific, like, well, maybe you can play this game, your friend can play another game, and your other friend can play another game, and then you can all trade the things you don't have. And it's like, yeah, I guess.
Pokemon Green, right? This is also a thing that we've got to discuss as well, because obviously it depends on how Japan decides to release them as well.
That is true.
Because Japan obviously had very different release schedule of these games than we did.
You know what? Now that you said it, it might be Red, Yellow, Green instead of Red, Blue, Yellow. Because Green is the OG game for them.
Yeah.
And it'd be a great excuse for them to be like, oh, well, you'll play it because you never had it.
Yeah.
In the West, like, we had Blue instead, right? So I actually think Green is the one that's coming.
See, I wouldn't mind that, but I think the thing is as well, they did have Blue over there.
Did they?
Yeah, so they literally had Red, Blue, Green, and Yellow.
Oh, shit.
So they had all 4. So Blue was actually released over there. I think it was just a more updated version.
Well, yeah, because I heard Green was a bit broken. So like Red and Blue are supposed to be like the improved versions, like the updates.
Like Blue and Yellow, I believe, are obviously more updated ones. So Blue is literally what we got, I think, and then Yellow was just like literally the combination of like that's more based on the anime.
Yeah.
So that was like the big thing. But okay, this is the question though: if Japan do get Red, Green, Blue, and Yellow, like, would we end up getting Green?
I feel like there's a chance we might. Well, because they released the different region versions, right?
Yeah, this is the one thing.
So we might get a Green, but they might just go super lazy and be like, we didn't translate it. It's Japanese. If you want to play it, you can play it.
I'd be so fucked up if they gave us an untranslated game.
Trust me, so would I. But at the same time, at least they can still say you can play it if you want, right? And then they can still say you got it.
Yeah. God, that's an interesting thing on that. I don't know how they're going to manage it. Like, that'd be interesting.
In my opinion, they're not going to do that. They probably will translate it if they're going to release it.
Yeah, I think so.
But again, if they wanted to, they could just get away with that. And let's face it, we'll complain.
Yeah.
But a lot of fans will probably just do it.
There is a lot of the SNES titles which were released in Japan only, which we got Nintendo Switch Online. So, like, it could happen. I think there's the opportunity for it to happen.
Yeah. Again, I think we're probably getting Green.
That'd be mad.
Just because knowing Nintendo, they'll be like, oh, the West never had it, so here you go.
Yeah. So they want to do it for Pokemon Green, but they won't do it for Mother 3, the bastards.
Have you ever seen Mother 3? I know why they haven't. That game touches on a bunch of topics that, especially in today's climate, nuh-uh. They ain't touching that.
Yeah, but this would be the best way to do it if they were ever going to do it, though.
Oh yeah, it is. But again, from what I know of that game, because I've watched the full playthrough where someone did play the fan translation, which was really good.
Yeah.
That game touches on some subjects that in today's climate could get Nintendo in a lot of heat, and they don't want any of that.
Yeah, I can understand. Yeah.
And then it just raises issues amongst fandoms and shit. Bro, it's a firestorm waiting to happen, trust me.
Yeah, I can understand that completely. I can understand. But yeah, does make you think. Like, but this is the thing that we've also discussed stuff like the idea of Pokemon Pinball arriving.
Oh my god, please.
If they've got Pokemon trading, because they've confirmed that trading card games come in.
And I like pinball way more than trading card games, so do it.
Oh, Yeah, pinball was like sick.
Both of them as well.
Oh man, yeah.
Not just the Game Boy one. Game Boy Advance one that was Gen 3. Do it.
Yeah, Pokemon Pinball Advance, I feel generally has a better chance of getting on the Game Boy Advance emulator compared to the other three. Though.
Also, I need it because I lost my cartridge, my original cartridge of Pokemon Pinball Advance. I don't know where that went.
Bro, for some reason I have 2 copies. Do you want one of mine?
I think we've mentioned this before.
Definitely, but like for some reason I looked at I have 2 copies of Pokemon Advance. I don't know. I think I might have bought like one
What?
online and I found one in
Wow.
a game store somewhere, like back in the day.
I had one and then I lost it one day and like it's just never turned up again.
Bro, next time I come down, I'll bring you it. You can have it. I have no reason to have
wicked.
2 copies of this fucking game.
Yeah.
I might check which one has my because I have a really high score on one of them. I need to check which.
Oh, bro, I don't care. By this point, I'm not going to play it. I just want it back for my collection. You know what I mean? Like, it's just the fact that I knew I had it and now I don't have it. So, like...
But like, this is the one thing I might not even need to give it to you because at some point it might just get uploaded to Advanced.
Yeah, but now I know I could have it physical again. So,
Yeah.
like, I need it.
Yeah, but no, like this is the one thing I'm excited to see what comes next on these, and how regularly they're going to put out these games as well.
They've already established through the other ones that they do it super irregularly.
Yeah,
They just sort of do it when it's ready or when they feel like it's ready. So,
yeah, because like I remember the SNES and NES were monthly. It'd be like, oh, here's this month's games.
yeah, and then they quickly changed it to like, whenever.
Like when it came to Nintendo 64 and like the latest 2, they're like, yeah, there's no schedule to these.
I mean, I feel like I read a statement even on the SNES where it was like, yeah, we put them out when we put them out.
Yeah, like at one point they just like stopped, and I remember there's a massive gap because Earthbound Beginnings was one of the last ones to come out on NES, and that took a couple months as well because I think they only had a select library on that.
Yeah.
I'm also kind of pissed that the fact that we had to buy Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon to get access over here, whereas Japan got that for free on the SNES system, Nintendo Switch Online.
Wow.
So we actually had to buy that because it was like, oh yeah,
Cheeky.
here you can actually play this game. And then like I think I remember the reactions, and I kind of agree with it in the fact that it was like, wait, so yeah, it's good that you're making a big deal out of it because it's Fire Emblem's 25th anniversary. That's really cool. But why didn't you just give it to us for free when you know that there's the possibility to do that?
Because you're not Japanese.
Yeah, and it's just like maybe it was like, oh, it's funding the
Nihonjin janai desu.
maybe it's like, oh, we're funding the fucking translation team or something like that. Maybe that's a reason. But like even then, and then it was a limited release as well. It's no longer available.
Ah, well then.
There's a whole bunch of things here. Like, why the fuck have they done that? It's like they could have easily done it a different way.
I'm sorry, Nintendo-san, that I am a gaijin. Please bring it back.
But apparently, like, it's one of the hardest fucking titles because it was the first title, and there's so many fucking issues with it. It's the same way that Pokemon like has the same thing, but the fact that Ghost Pokemon are overpowered. Like, it's the same way that each first game has its fucking like mad like balancing issues.
Yeah, I mean, also back in the day, you know, they had all the limitations and whatever in it, and we didn't have the internet, so you don't have the capacity to update a cartridge. You'd need a whole fucking machine just to like reflash the thing. Like, it's not worth it. I get it.
But yeah, there's a lot of hype between this system thing. But yeah, depends on how much they're willing to translate stuff.
Yeah, that's true. But again, ultimately, I'm just waiting for my freaking Pokemon Stadium 1, bro.
Yeah, man. Did they confirm 2 or not? I had always had it in mind that they confirmed 2.
I feel like they did, but I feel like this is Mandela effect.
Yeah.
You know, where we're like, they did that, right? They totally did, and then it will turn out like, no, they didn't.
Okay, hold on. I've got to look this up quick because I feel.
I'm telling you, I feel like this is the newest Mandela effect.
Yeah.
Where we swear we remember it happened and it probably didn't.
Hold on.
Or maybe I'm thinking that because I know of the Mandela effect.
You just want to use it wherever you can. Pokemon.
No, but like now that, you know, we're more familiar with it, I feel like I'm more conscious of it. I don't know. Like, either way, I can't wait for that, man. I want I want to play my freaking mini games. That's it.
Yeah, so Pokemon Stadium and Pokemon Stadium 2 are scheduled to release on Nintendo Switch Online in 2023.
Okay, wicked.
So, yeah, so 2 is coming, which basically means, like, I feel if they're gonna port over, like, red, blue, green, yellow, whatever ones they want to do, they're gonna have to do the same for gold, silver, and crystal, right?
Yeah, probably, and I'd be down for that. Because I never had an official copy of those as a kid.
Oh, really? Okay. I had,
Yeah, I played them off of one of those like 50-in-1 cartridges
yeah.
where it was mistranslated. I think I've told this story before, but
I had silver and crystal, but when I went back to them recently, the batteries kind of died on them. So every time I
okay.
switch the game off or like switch it back on, it erases the data or something like that. I don't know if it's a
that's
battery
sad.
problem or it's something, but I was just like, oh, okay.
No, yeah, it's a battery because the battery
Yeah.
keeps the clock going. So you have to take apart the cartridge to replace the battery.
I still have those cartridges because they're nice to have, but yeah, I do know they're unplayable now.
I feel like if I ever go to Japan again,
Yeah.
I will probably have to hopefully find like a Japanese copy. I'll never play them, but just to be like, oh, I've got one for my collection, like a gold, a silver, or a crystal.
Yeah, I can't remember if I've mentioned this before. I purchased I bought a Japanese 2DS, and it was the Pokemon Green one.
I think you have mentioned this on recording before. I feel like you have.
And it came with a downloaded copy of Pokemon Green on it. And I tried my best to know like this is why this is why I said earlier I'd be so pissed if they did release an untranslated version of this game, because it's not like, oh yeah, you can kind of do like you can play through, because there's certain games like I played Jump Superstars and Ultimate Stars without having a translation. They're easy to do. Pokemon is not an easy thing to maneuver when you
Pokemon is a text heavy game.
yeah, I would not understand what the frick is going on.
See, now I'm interested to boot up my SP, because last time we went, I definitely said this on recording, but last time we went to Japan, me and Pepe, I bought an unboxed copy of Pokemon Green.
Yeah,
and I'm kind of wondering how much I could read. Probably not a whole lot.
I mean, well, it might be worth a try, but like honestly, it's hard. Like there's so many things like that you don't know that's happened until it happens as well. So like you just suddenly feel like
Bro, but that's the thing. I'd be fucked. The first kanji character that comes up, I'm out. Because I can't read any of that.
yeah,
Which would probably be instantly, I'd be like, okay, well, I'm fucked.
Yeah, I just don't, yeah.
Be like, name your character, and I'd be like, I don't know.
I think I literally just chose a default thing. Oh no, I was able to type in English characters in that.
Well, I mean, if you have to pick a default,
I think I'll still call. So this is one fucking. This is one character.
English kid, yeah, in the whole fucking the one Western kid in this whole Japanese Pokemon world.
It checks out. Yeah, man. God, it's a lot, but yeah. I don't know, is there anything else we want to mention? I'm cautious of time and stuff like that, but
not really.
yeah.
Again, these just talking ones, they can go on for ages. We just cut them off at a certain point, because otherwise,
yeah, it's getting there. Isn't it? I feel like we've gushed about a lot of retro. we've gushed about a lot of retro games in the space of 45 minutes or so. But yeah, okay. I think that basically brings it to the end. Thank you for listening, guys. Let us know in the comments below what games you'd love to see on Nintendo Switch Online, because we've had our list, and I'm pretty sure we could talk about a whole bunch more. But that's our cut down one. But yeah, let us know in the comments below. And remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell button so you get notified. Check us out on podcast platforms, links in the description. We are also on Twitter, so go follow us on there. And that's about it. We'll see you next time, guys, for another Cultured Boys episode. Bye.
bye.